That's fine. That's fine. And I'm gonna start recording now because I almost
Okay.
forgot already. I usually just hit the record button to start and edit that out. But I had an interview last week and forgot to hit record
Oh
until the end of the interview.
no. Oh
So
no.
it was bad. But the second conversation was good and she agreed to another one. So I'm glad for it. I'm glad for it.
Cool. I looked over the questions that you had included in the email and I kind of
Okay.
jotted some notes down.
Okay.
I
Okay.
sometimes feel like I fumble over my words, especially when I like feel like it's going to be recorded. So
Okay.
if you see me
Would
looking down, I'm looking at notes.
so would you prefer, because sometimes I go off script and if you take me in a different direction, it just ends up being
That's
more
fine. I
okay.
mean, it's conversational,
Okay.
so it's
Okay.
okay.
But is there some things that you wrote down? So I definitely want to make sure we talk about like what you're prepared for. If there's something that you like have ready to say, because I know you asked about like topic with relationships, and sorry for getting too deep with like SEL and stuff, but relationships is perfect. That's what my reboot conference is going to be on.
Yes.
Um, what was I saying? Oh, is there any questions that you definitely want me to talk about,
Um,
or like thing that you definitely want to
mm,
talk about?
no, I'm a little more uncertain how to answer the global economy question. That one
Okay.
really made me think hard and I don't feel good
Okay.
about my answer. um,
Understood. Understood. Well, I'll stay away from that one, but perhaps I'll ask a few more of them.
cool.
Okay. Okay. Cool. So I've also there's a new introduction for the podcast, so I've already got some intro stuff going that I'll add later, and then we'll just kind of jump into the podcast. Okay.
Okay, cool. Thank you. One quick warning. I live on a busy street and sometimes it gets loud out there.
Okay. No
So you might
worries.
hear like sirens or cars that like to be loud.
Understood. That'll be just fine. It's raining here now, and I tell people I live 2 blocks from the hood, 2 blocks downtown, and in the middle of the country. So I'm in a very rural city, and there's Lord knows what's going by out here. So it's all good. Any other questions before we get rolling?
No,
Okay,
thank
cool.
you again.
Yeah, my pleasure. My pleasure. Let me make sure I've got a pen. I'd like to take some notes. Give me 1 second. Let me grab a pen.
How many I guess episodes? I know you
Mm,
have a whole lot of episodes, but like how many
yeah.
do you do at a time?
So it's a good question. So we've been doing an episode a week since 2017. Um, and so I took a break from like November of 2018 to February of 2019, about 3 months. But really, it was just a revamp. I used the business coach and just put more strategy behind stuff. But so episode 172 came out this week, and we'll have. So this will probably be one episode or episode like 174, 175, one of those. So we're getting up there, but like early in quarantine, Staci, I had probably 15 episodes just waiting, rolling out. Like episodes came out last month that episodes came out in September and October that were recorded in February and March.
Oh.
So I spent a lot of time not recording episodes. And so I had some issues with my virtual assistant as well, out of nowhere, really. It was just kind of it was just different. So she got let go and kind of quit. And yeah, like hey, I'm good. Let's part ways. So that transition process has been different too, but it's helped me to go in and look at some of my processes and update those, just to higher quality as well. So um, it's different, but I'm trying now. I'm on the Teach Better podcast network. Um, they do a lot of professional development. They've got a podcast as well. A lot of cool things there. So I'm just trying to get the word out more on the podcast. We've been doing it for a while, but it's really just been for me and for the people.
Wow,
So
that's awesome because you have so many episodes.
yeah, it is. I call it I say it's like a coaching session for me because I get an excuse to reach out to the donut loving teacher or just I've interviewed some amazing people and can, can feel confident about going to ask because I'm not asking for myself, hey, will you join me for this reason? Having a good excuse to say, hey, let me send a message or an email or something. So it's been a pleasure and privilege for sure. And I get value every time, doing it as well.
Well, round
Good
of
question.
applause to you, though.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. So
It's
it's
definitely important work
yeah,
and a lot
I
of work.
yeah, I appreciate it. It used to take me 10 hours to record an episode.
Wow.
Now, by the time we finish an episode, I can have it uploaded in 7 minutes is the actual
What?
time. When we finish the episode, I can upload it to SoundCloud in 7 minutes. And I say upload, I mean like edit it, mix it, and upload it
Wow.
to there.
What
Um,
a what
let
a
me
huge change.
Yeah. So yeah, it's ridiculous. And then from there it's outsourced. So someone else writes the show notes and produces some things um for me. I want to make sure I've got this other one saved before we get going. So yeah, yeah, those are some good questions. And I'd be curious to know for you as well, maybe after our conversation. I don't want to spend too much of our conversation not recording because I know there's going to be a lot of good stuff to come. But I'm curious to hear more too. You've got quite the brand too, and I love just the whole donut thing, man. You got me hooked. So we'll talk about some of that here, but perhaps later on too.
Cool.
Okay,
Yes.
good deal. Well, we'll get rolling here. Anything else?
No,
Okay.
I don't think so.
Okay, good deal. Well, let's get rolling then. I'll do a brief pause and then I'll introduce you and we'll roll in. Thanks again for joining us here on the Dash Podcast. I'm here with Staci Yamanishi, a middle school English teacher out in Los Angeles, California. Thank you so much for joining us, Staci. I've got a little affinity for Los Angeles and some of the old school music that comes out of those parts. So thank you very much. I appreciate you. The donut loving teacher. How you doing today?
Hi, thank you so much for having me. Such an honor to be here. Doing well. It's a sunny day here, even though it's fall. We don't get a lot of cold weather.
Yeah. But does it
Yeah.
rain? They say it never rains in Southern California.
It's rained once in the last 10 months.
What? Really? That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it doesn't rain that much. And I
I
feel like we're ill prepared for rain anyway. Like the
I guess
streets
that's
flood.
wow. I guess that's why there's so many fires around there too. I know that's a whole different subject, but
Yes.
just how dry it is and whatnot. So, Staci, I don't think I knew what your real name was for a while because on Instagram you go by the donut loving teacher. And if you ask anybody that knows me, they know how much I love donuts too. So, I'm very interested in your page, and it looks like you go to some great donut places too. How did you kind of get that name and what kind of things does the donut loving teacher do?
So, my favorite donut to start is a strawberry sprinkled cake donut. But the name came up because I had just moved from the LA area. I actually moved up north to Chico, which is a
Okay.
very small town in Northern California. And before that, I was trying to start a TPT and I was MS Teacher LA
Hmm.
because my students always called me Miss. So it was like a play on being a middle school teacher and
Oh,
always being called Miss and living in LA. But I was like, well, I don't live in LA right now, so I guess I need a new name.
got you.
And I just really do love donuts. And I felt like that was a big part of me at the
Right.
time. And it just kept growing.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, and I see you have like different kind of donut themed products or like visuals that you've got in different color schemes. So what kind of, you kind of got people, other people love donuts too, so how has that just love and affinity for donuts and your name kind of grown into, people that want to do some of the same things that you're doing?
Yeah, I think just starting out with something relatable to other people, like a donut, right? People could relate. A lot of people like donuts. And then drawing in interest to being more than just a donut loving teacher. Like, I do
Mm,
love my donuts, but I'm definitely not, don't feel like that's my only interest and that's the only thing that I share about on my Instagram page.
understood, understood. I like it. Well, I'm certainly, excited to talk with you and learn more about you because I do get to see so much of you, on Instagram and the different, stories you're doing, ideas you've got, just thoughts. It just looks pretty cool out there in Chico, California.
Well,
It
now I'm
looks.
back in LA, but
Oh,
yes.
backing up. Well, shoot. Then in Los Angeles, yeah, it looks good out there too. What are some of the things that you've learned about yourself through your journey in education? Whether it's moving to those different locations and populations, or period.
uh, that's a lot. A lot of thoughts, but I feel like, well, the reason that I'm in education is because I really did like being in school when I was a
Mm,
kid. Like, it was a really safe space for me. There was a lot of structure. I knew what to expect. I don't know. It just felt like a good place for me.
yeah.
And but I was always the quiet kid. Like, if my teachers knew what I was doing now and that I was a teacher, I think they'd kind of be like, "Wait, she talks."
Mm,
um, so I think that the thing that I've learned most about myself through this journey is, like, I do have a voice, and
wow.
others will listen to it, and
Mm,
it does make a
mm,
difference.
mm.
Yeah.
We give shine sometimes to students for doing something that we agree with, and I certainly give you shine for that because I think who isn't that what we need in our classrooms, the students to find their voice, and to have that voice and to have a choice and to just that's so much. That's when I do observations in classrooms, most of the feedback is, hey, it was 80-20 student talk versus teacher talk. You were talking 80% of the time. Your students had no input in the class. At least be 50-50. And
Right.
that's what that's what I think a lot of times. But going back for you personally, when did you find your voice? Was it in school or was it not until after school? Um, yeah, I'll leave that one there.
I would feel like I kind of really found my voice when I became a teacher. I
Mm,
think even in, like, my teaching program and, like, going to school, I was always I'm a bit more reserved in front of people.
gotcha.
Um, but when, I don't know, and so part of me is like, well, what made me think I would want to be a teacher talking in front of people? But like you said, it's more than just talking. Like, sure,
Yeah.
I talk in the front of the classroom at times, but it's not my voice that should be at the center.
Mm,
Um, so I feel like being in the classroom is really where I found my voice, and I found it, like, I found, yeah, I'm just, yeah.
that's
I guess
good.
I'm having a hard time finding my voice at the moment, but being in the classroom, I think, with students and trying to get other people to find their voice and use their voices is how
Hmm.
I was finding my own at the same time,
I mean,
if
I
that makes
think
sense.
that's yeah, no, I think it makes amazing sense. So because there's different zones you get. I think about for myself, speaking in different scenarios, speaking, Stacy, I just think different. I just move when I'm in a facilitation role. It's the same with teaching. I taught from middle school through college and adults, and there's I don't know, there's just a different mode when I'm in that mode that's not like the regular me, and I can speak a little different. I don't stutter as much. I don't have these little hiccups or ticks or insecurities that I usually have. I'm just the best version of me when I'm facilitating. Is that kind of
Exactly. Like you're just in go mode, you're in the
Yeah.
zone, you're not really overthinking anything. You're
Hmm.
just in the moment and that's it. And that's
Yeah.
where I guess the magic happens.
Yeah. Would you say so? As a teacher, are there ways that you can help students find their voice earlier, or is that do we just find our voice at our own time?
Ooh, I think both.
Mm,
I think one, knowing that you can find it at any time is what also kind of not feeling pressure to feel like you have to find yourself, you have to know who you are, you have to find your voice, but just knowing that it's there and it's ready for you when you're ready
mm,
is really important.
yeah, yeah, that's the truth. I think that's patience that you have to breed and self-awareness that goes
Yeah.
along with it. I know that relationships are important to you in your classroom. How do you get started with relationships, especially and particularly in a time when you're transitioning to virtual, hybrid, face to face, whatever we've got going on?
Yeah, usually it's just those little conversations. It starts with the hello, how are yous, and then it turns into, it grows from there as you become more comfortable with each other. I guess I'm I'm guessing I'm curious, so I ask a lot of questions.
Mm,
I mean, like, if a student cuts their hair, I'm like, oh, did you get a haircut this weekend? And then it starts a conversation. Yeah, and then I did this, and then I did that.
yeah,
Um, just finding little things to have conversations about that can
right.
build into bigger conversations,
Hmm.
I feel like is how relationships start. And I think how trust starts, and remembering what they tell you, or I mean, in any relationship, when somebody remembers something that you told them, you're like, oh, you really did listen, or
Mm,
like, and I don't remember every single thing my student says, but just taking time to try to do that, or I feel like helps. This year being virtual is so hard. We're not requiring students to have cameras on because there's so many other factors going on with the cameras being on. And as much as I would love to see their faces, it's just something that's not,
not the most important right now.
yeah. But I think what has helped me build relationships this year is just stopping and answering any random thing they bring up in the chat. So in one of my classes, a student said, Ms. Yam, do you play Among Us? And I was like, what's that? No, I've never heard of it before. And it totally has changed everything. Stopping to answer that one question
Mm,
was such a game changer for me because it's just this easy app that you can download. And then we spent lunch.
wow.
10 kids came to play. And then other kids were like, wait, I heard you play Among Us at lunch. And then it just kind of grew from there. We haven't been doing it as much, but just in the beginning of the school year
Yeah.
to connect and know each other. And a lot of times, those are the kids that are the ones responding to me more than they were before
Mm,
now, just
mm,
because we have something to talk about or we've had conversations before.
right.
So it was kind of a nice little icebreaker.
Yeah. I mean, when you do things like that in the beginning of your school year, when you're first getting to know them, it pays dividends when you try to show them what your content is going to look like or what your productivity is going to look like, what my expectations are going to be like. Because now, hey,
Mhm.
this is me and you talking here. Let's get down to business. I know
Yeah,
we're cool now, but we got these standards to meet. So we're gonna get to work too.
absolutely.
A
Definitely sets the foundation.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I know we mentioned, and we were both a part of Educators to Educators. I did my presentation on 3 restorative practices you can use in your classroom. Can you talk a little bit about your presentation in classroom excuse me, presentation that you did for E2E last
Sure.
summer or this past summer?
Um, Yeah, this past summer I did I guess my presentation was on um, social emotional learning and specifically on using community circles in the classroom, which has been very different in a virtual space. Um, and I've been attempting it. We definitely aren't in a place where we're having as deep of conversations,
Gotcha.
but students still get a chance to have their voices heard, whether they want to or not. And just really taking time to build those relationships with your students, but also so that they feel seen among each other as
Yeah,
well.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I, so important. And that was, I think, the third practice that I used in mine as well was restorative circles. And there's so many types of circles. I think it's one of the best and simplest practices you can use in your classroom. Can we slow down for a minute and talk through what is a community circle and how would one do this in our classroom? And then we'll talk about how you've had to adjust it to meet your needs for right now.
Sure. Well, I'll start by saying like where I learned how to do community circles and why I feel they're important in my classroom. I learned them as a grad student. We had a however many hour long class, and all we did every week in that class was come and be in a community circle.
Mm,
Um,
wow.
so I guess kind of the structure that I learned is there's a talking piece, and you do genuinely sit in a circle so everyone can face each other. There's a big question that gets asked, and the talking piece goes around, and you can say as much as you want or as little as you want. But the norms that are set are that you're speaking from the heart, you're listening from the heart, um, you have the right to pass, and kind of respecting, honoring confidentiality of what's shared in that space.
Hmm.
So I guess that's kind of like the way that I learned it. And I do remember that class. It sounds easy, right? Like all you have to do is show up
But it's
and talk
tough.
about yourself. But it was hard, and there were often times where there were tears, and but that is those tears were like healing tears.
Mm,
So I felt like as a cohort, we were all really close because we actually knew each other.
yeah,
We weren't just classmates. Like we knew each other on a pretty deep level.
yeah,
Um, and so bringing that into the classroom has there have been times where it's gotten really deep, but for the most part, it's a time for like students' voices to really be the center.
hmm,
We still have a talking piece, we have the same norms,
mm,
but usually we have different rounds, and the first rounds are usually like quick check-ins or something pretty light, that everyone can get comfortable with.
yeah,
And then from there, kind of kicking it up a notch.
right. How often are you doing these circles?
Currently, I'm doing them once a week, which I know isn't enough, but
I mean, that's not. I mean, so how long does a community circle take?
virtually right now it's taking about 30 to 40 minutes.
So I mean, that's a whole class period, and you're talking about middle school, eighth grade,
Right,
correct?
right.
That's pretty good time because you don't have much. So does that come from a homeroom period, or is that from your actual English lesson time?
So it's been happening. I actually have a yearbook class, and so I'm really pushing it harder in there. I've done
Mm-hmm.
it a couple of times in my English classes, but I want to build up to it. But I think
Yeah.
the number one thing is also knowing that it doesn't always have to be like this touchy feely emotional thing. The same structure of these
Mm,
circle times really works for talking about their opinions about content too. Like when you read a book,
that's a
how do
great
you
idea.
like talking about characters or themes, and
Yeah.
relating to having opportunities to relate to those characters and themes
Yeah.
also is pre-virtual what I spent a lot of time doing in my
Hmm.
English class.
I love it. And those are the kind of brain links too and connections on how you make things your own. Picasso said that good artists borrow and great artists steal. So you take a concept and hear me out here, because you have an idea of a community circle, and traditionally it has the thought of, hey, we're getting deep here, we're solving a problem, it's gonna be some crazy stuff coming out. But there's different versions of that. and there's community circles, check-in circles, restorative circles,
Mm.
peace circles, peer circles. There's all celebration circles. There's different kinds you can use, different questions, different ways, different reasons to use them. So I certainly can see that. And to just give you the support to keep doing what you're doing right now, I'd say once a week is great. Are
Thanks.
you, let me ask this, are you at a school or a district that supports you with social emotional learning? Do you guys have a curriculum that you're using?
We do not have a curriculum. Over summer, we did do our own community circle as a staff, and we had a couple people come in and do it. So for context, this is my first year at this school in
Okay.
a new district, um, and we had a lot of conversation around community circles and restorative circles, and I was like, yes, I'm so excited. And then I had talked to a coworker saying like, so how often should I be doing these? Like, is once a week enough? And I found out that they have started the work, but the work that they've started, they were doing one a semester in their advisory classes.
Wow.
So I see a lot of room for growth there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And especially now too, I know virtual is strange, but
Hmm.
I think even if kids don't feel like they really want to talk, they do. I think
Yeah.
deep down they
They
do.
absolutely.
Your sound cut out.